There are a good amount of videos out there demonstrating the Ophicleide, and I've made a lot myself, but there's not much in the way of actually teaching you how to play the horn. So this is kind of a first lesson covering the basics, as if you picked up the horn for the first time and asked me to show you how to play. Now do keep in mind the Ophicleide I own is the equivalent of a trashy beginner trumpet because I can't afford a good one. This is a no-brand Chinese stencil Ophicleide with a worse design than the Wessex or Schiller one, so take the tone with a huge grain of salt. Although the Ophicleide was known to have an interesting and unconventional tone, this is the bottom of the barrel. A higher quality Ophicleide will sound better than this. But just because I can't afford a good Ophicleide doesn't mean I can't teach you the basics, so let's get started. But first we need a bit of a history lesson. The Ophicleide was invented in 1817 and then patented in 1821 by a man named Jean Valjean. By a man named Jean-Pierre Asta, a French instrument maker. And I'm sure I butchered that pronunciation. I've also heard the misconception that Adolf Sax's father invented the Ophicleide, but I can't find any evidence to back that up. But anyway, the reason this has keys is because valves hadn't been invented yet. The Ophicleide is the bass horn in the line of keyed bugles, and it evolved from things like the serpent, the bass horn, and the English bassoon. The word Ophicleide actually means keyed serpent, and while those other instruments sometimes had one or two keys, they mostly relied on changing notes by covering holes with your fingers. With that brief history done, let's start the lesson. This is a tricky instrument to show all at once, but I'll try my best. Now before you start, you're going to want to throw away all you know about other woodwind fingerings, because they're not going to help you. Even though it looks a bit like a saxophone, the saxophone actually came after this, and this was the inspiration for it, so none of the fingerings translate. In fact, baritone and euphonium players are probably going to have the easiest time because the mouthpiece and range are pretty much the same. While Ophicleide-specific mouthpieces are probably best for the horn, you could fit any euphonium or trombone mouthpiece in here and it would play just fine. And remember, this was the bass brass instrument, so even though it has the range of euphonium, a lot of times in old pieces you'll be expected to play a part a tuba would now. So let's get started with holding the instrument. There are two paddles, one for your right hand and one for your left, and they go on the soft spot in between your index finger and your thumb. And that's how you hold it. Once your hands are there, your fingers will kind of naturally rest on the buttons. 1, 2, 3, and your thumb. Your pinky has nothing on your left hand. Now on your right hand, it will depend on if you have a 9, 10, or 11 key Ophicleide. This one's 11 keys, but it shouldn't really matter. Your fingers will kind of naturally rest. You also have one more thumb button back here. For 11 keys like this, you've got 1, 2, 3, and then your ring will go between these two, and then your pinky passes between both of these. Now because this is still a brass instrument, it's got the harmonic series that you play just by changing your lips. Now that's really important because most of the notes you're going to play are just played with the 4 keys on your left hand. You will use your right thumb and pinky in the mid-range, but other than that, your right hand is exclusively the lowest register. I should also mention this Ophicleide is in B flat, but there are also C Ophicleides, which are a whole step above, and E flat Ophicleides called quintoclaves, which are a fourth above the B flat. Just like euphoniums, trombones, and tubas, all Ophicleides read in concert pitch, no matter the key of the instrument. It's just the fingerings that change. Now when you're ready to start playing, you're going to want to put the Ophicleide to your mouth and start buzzing, without any fingers down. Your embouchure should be a little bit firm, but not like a trumpet. It should be pretty loose. Depending on your horn, that'll be a B flat or a C. I'm just going to be talking in B flat for the rest of the video though. If you have a C Ophicleide, just transpose what I'm saying up a whole step and you'll be good. Now once you have that B flat buzzing down pretty good, you're going to want to tune your instrument. Now some Ophicleides have tuning slides like this, but if it doesn't, if it's a round vocal, you're going to want to pull this out. This is where the head joint goes on. That can go up or down and that'll change your tuning. The most important thing is to have your harmonic series in tune first. Now we're going to try a B flat scale. I hope you have your scales memorized, but if you don't, B flat has 2 flats. Moving to C is your left thumb and left middle finger. It's best to play with a tuner while you're figuring this out because most of the notes you're going to play will be out of tune and you have to pitch bend with your mouth to get them in tune. There aren't tuning slides for each key the way there are tuning slides for each valve on a normal brass instrument. You've just got the one. Okay, you've got C down. Now you're going to put down your ring finger and your right thumb. That's D. You can also play D just by doing your right thumb, but the tone will be a little different and you can find which one you like better. For me on this horn, D is my most out of tune note and I have to try really hard to keep it from falling into D flat. This is the tone difference between the 2 alternate fingerings. Now you want want to take your whole fingering of D and add this pinky key right here. That'll turn into E flat. And just like with D, you can do all your left hand fingerings and thumb and pinky, or just right thumb and pinky. They're the same note, but different tone. Then F is part of the harmonic series, so it's an open note. You just bring your embouchure up a little bit from B flat. Of course, you're going to want to practice your scale up and down to that fifth and back. And remember to try it with those alternate fingerings to see what you like better. Okay, moving up from F is G, and it's the same fingering as C. Left thumb, left middle finger. The 7 of the scale is A natural, and it's just your left index finger. This top key is actually the only key on the horn that's open when not being pressed down. The rest open when you press down, and this brings the pitch down a half step. So B flat to A natural, F to E natural. Then we're back to B flat, which of course is open. And because I like my scales to go to the 9 and back, the next note is C, which is just the same, left thumb, left middle finger. Going up past that middle D and E flat that I showed you before, the only fingers you're going to use are these 4 left hand fingers. So you're going to have to get really good at playing with your left hand. And you can really just keep going up and up until your mouth fails. Now going down, there pretty much is a limit. You'd think because it's a B flat horn, the lowest note would be B flat, but because of this note closing, it lowers it a half step, so the lowest note is A1. And because of the way the keys work, when you press a key, it opens the hole, raising the pitch instead of lowering it, so pedal tones don't exactly work. You can't keep lowering the pitch when the keys raise the pitch. I'm not going to tell you what angle to keep your Ophicleide at because that's really up to you. Some people like a strong angle, the way you'd hold a bassoon. I prefer a more shallow angle. When you're sitting, some people prefer to hold it to the side the way you do a bassoon or a bari sax, but that's really uncomfortable for me, and some of the keys catch on my pants and don't close, so I can't exactly do that. It's hard to see on camera, but I prefer to hold it in between my legs almost straight. That's just what's more comfortable for me. But if I can, I avoid sitting with this altogether because it's just so much easier to play standing up in my opinion. Now with the lowest register, it's actually really similar to the other ones. You're just going down. Starting at B flat, you just press your index finger and that'll lower it to A natural. Now you finally get to use these keys. You've got A flat, G, G flat, F, E natural. But now you're back to the fingerings you know. E flat is right thumb, right pinky. D is just right thumb. C is left thumb, left middle finger. B flat is open, and A is this. As far as keyed instruments go, it's a really simple fingering system to figure out. For me, one of the trickiest things to learn, besides how to play in tune and hit the right partial, was how to play well with my left hand and also how to play quickly, because there's a lot of travel distance between the keys and the body. That travel distance makes it really tricky to play quickly. It's not like the travel distance on a flute or a clarinet. But really all it takes is a lot of practice, and this is a really fun instrument to play. This is a horn that takes a lot of exploring for yourself, so you can find out how you play the horn best. I know the instrument isn't for everybody, but I know some of you love it just as much as I do. Now keep practicing and have a great day.